This is Microsoft PowerApps, an easy way to control your business app development process. My name's Andy Nathan. I'm joined today by Bhupendra Singh and Vijay Montani. Guys, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Well, we're coming today from Beyond Key. Beyond Key is a software development and IT solutions firm. We have a number of different divisions. Two of the most popular divisions that people know about are Beyond Voice, which is where we do voice AI for chatbots, voice transcriptions, and other voice technologies. In addition to that, we also have Beyond Internet, which includes our internet options for employees, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. A lot of that has Microsoft Office 365, SharePoint, and the Power Platform, just to name a few. And in terms of our company as a whole, Beyond Key, we have over 150 developers and engineers. We've been around for 15 plus years and have over 200 global clients. Specifically for Beyond Internet, we are a Microsoft Gold partner, and that's because we've been partnering with Microsoft for probably close to almost 15 years now. And in addition to that, we're recognized globally as one of the top 5 add-in developers on the Microsoft App Store. So we've developed plugins for onboarding, employee directories, and just directories and tiles as well that have really taken off, and a lot of people who use those add-ins to manage their own SharePoint and other Microsoft tools. Beyond just the tools that we develop, we also provide Office 365 services, which includes items including the Microsoft Power Platform as well. We work with clients around the world in the healthcare, logistics, finance, automotive, manufacturing, insurance, retail, and nonprofit industries. As you can see here, this is just a list of some of the clients that we've worked with and work with now, and they're all around the world, and we've had the opportunity to work with some amazing clients during the time that we've been in business. So in regards to the webinar today, I'm sure people have a lot of questions that they want to ask, and that's awesome. We definitely encourage you to ask those questions. What we would suggest is that if you have questions for us, put it in the chat. We'll answer everything that you have at the end of the webinar, but more than likely what will happen is as we continue to go along and we start showing you new technologies and new tools, we'll be able to answer some of those questions, and probably you're not the only person who has that question as well. So we'd rather just answer them all together at one time. In terms of the agenda today, we have 5 main topics that we want to talk about. The first is what are Power Apps, just explaining the basics of it. Also, then we want to talk about the benefits of using Power Apps for your business. Third, we want to talk about users, admins, and developers and the role that they play. In regards to those 3 topics, it'll probably be about 10 to 15 minutes that we'll spend on that. The next topic we're going to spend time on is business application uses. So now that you have an idea of what Power Apps are, how can you use Power Apps in your own business? Just giving you some ideas of how other companies have done that. We'll probably spend about 5 minutes or so on that. And then the rest of the time we'll spend on applications demo. Finally, as I mentioned before, we'll do all questions and answers at the end of the webinar. So to truly understand what Power Apps are, we need to start with the Power Platform. The Power Platform was created because Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, believed that it's time to create citizen developers. Years ago, when you would create an app or develop some type of software, you would need to have some type of technical skills to do that. And while there are still some technical skills required in order to develop apps on the Power Platform, he created this so people have the ability, wherever they are, whatever business they are, to create different apps for their business. And we'll go through some of the different challenges as well as just some of the different levels and how easy it is for anyone to create an app later on. But for right now, just keep in mind that when his vision is that the fact that in the next 5 years, there's going to be 500 million apps that are going to be created. As he said, that's more apps that were created in the last 40 years. That's so powerful when you think about all the different applications that have been developed so far. and how we've just scratched the surface in terms of app development. So there's 3 or 4 different parts of this Power Platform. There's Power BI, which is business intelligence, Power Automate, which formerly was MS Flow, if you use that. And then there's also Power Apps, and the new one that was announced last month at Inspire 2019 is Virtual Agent. The first 3 is, when we refer to them, you look at it as analyze, automate, and act. You use Power BI to analyze how your business works. You could then automate some of those processes using Power Automate, and you could act on that by using Power Apps. How do Power Apps work? What are they? Microsoft Power Apps are an enterprise platform that help you easily build apps or customize existing apps for whatever your business needs are. The way it does is it connects your Power Apps to over 260 different data sources. And we'll talk a little bit more about the connections and the integrations in a few minutes, but just keep in mind, a lot of what Power Apps does is it's taking data and using it for however your business needs that data to run your operations of your company. The great thing about this is it has a lot of drag and drop. On the for Power Apps, and that way you don't need as much coding. It's not a no-code system, it's a low-code system. That means low code, more power. So that way there is some stuff that needs to be done, and we could talk about the role developers play, but keep in mind that most people will be able to create some of the basic tools here. In addition to that, it also powers the framework. There's a framework that There's a framework that runs your Power App applications. So this framework allows you to create different tools that are in the Power Apps system. Now that we know what Power Apps are, let's take a second to talk about what Power Apps don't do. The first thing is, Power Apps are not to be created for commercial use. This is not something you'll use to sell on the App Store, the Apple App Store, or the Google Play Store. Instead, think of Power Apps primarily using them for internal audiences only. Your employees are probably going to be the biggest users of your Power Apps. Also, in addition to that, because of the fact it's a low-code system, developers cannot fully customize HTML and JavaScript. There is a place for some of that, but the majority of the work to be done is drag and drop. That means that there's not as many places to code. Third, you have to remember you are reliant on Microsoft for rolling out new functions. While this is not always a bad thing, sometimes it could mean that there should be some delays. That said, they do roll out items on a regular schedule. An example of this is the new Power Apps portal that launched this summer. The Power Apps portal allows you to connect your Power Apps to your customers. So if you need to get a ticketing system for your customers, you could use the Power Apps portal to help connect that to your customers' needs. It doesn't always happen right away. That's why I say it's something that they might not do right away. But just keep in mind they're generally updating things on a very regular schedule. So let's talk about the benefits of Power Apps. There's 5 main benefits. As you can see here, the first benefit is affordability. According to a Forrester study, on average, Power Apps reduce the initial development costs and effort by an average of 70%. Just that number is so mind-boggling. 70% versus traditional development costs. And then in addition to that, it's not only just the initial development that's reduced, it's also the ongoing application management and maintenance. So when you're working on your Power App, you're not only having to have lower costs initially, you don't have as many ongoing costs because Microsoft Power Apps takes care of that. Part of this relates to the fact that the Power Platform itself is relatively inexpensive. For those who have Office 365 Enterprise license, it's already included in your license. Also, in addition to that, basic a la carte plans start as low as $7 per month. And we'll talk about some of the other reasons in a few seconds why Power Apps are so affordable, but just keep in mind the platform itself does help with that, with the affordability. Second, It's mobile friendly. We are obviously in a very mobile friendly world. Everyone probably has their smartphone within about 2 feet of them right now, I would guess on this call. And if that's the case, you understand the idea that a device and a tool needs to work on web, Windows, iOS, and Android devices. And that's what they were created for. One of the reasons why it's so affordable is that you don't need to have a developer create a tool for an iOS device and then an Android device, which is what traditional app developers would have to do. PowerApps works on all platforms, and that's because it's designed as a mobile-first application to help you run your business more effectively wherever you are. Third, PowerApps integrates, like I said before, with over 260 different cloud services. Some of these are local cloud, or I'm sorry, some of these are Microsoft cloud services like SharePoint, Power Automate, Power BI, Bing Maps, and Excel. And others are external cloud services like Salesforce, MailChimp, and Dropbox. Beyond that, if a service is not directly connected to PowerApps, you could still connect to them using custom API codes and SQL database server tables. Fourth, there's a number of different drag and drop features. And I keep mentioning the phrase less code, more power. That's because this is one of the core benefits of using PowerApps. It's a drag and drop feature that works on a canvas model. So think about an art canvas, and you have a blank canvas, and you get to create whatever you want your app to look like based upon what your company needs. However, if you might not be sure of what you want to create or you don't know how to design it, there's also predefined templates for specific functions. If you need registration or thank you screens, that could be created for you without you having to do all the work yourself. Finally, there's also a common data service. So common data services, or CDSs, are storage spaces that allow the users to manage and securely store data that's being used by multiple applications or programs. By using a CDS, you're able to quickly and easily connect your data to PowerApps. That means you don't have to focus on how to set it up. It's already set up for you, so it's drag and drop. Fifth, security. In 2018 alone, 500 million records were stolen for online. Cybercrime is a very big concern for a lot of companies. That's the reason why PowerApps runs on the Azure security platform. The Azure security platform is a cloud security program that Microsoft created to ensure that your data is safe. It's one of the reasons why you also have required encrypted logins and other security features. Additionally, as an admin, you get to assign user permissions with specific security roles. You also get to limit who you share your particular apps with in the organization, which leads me to the next point. What are the roles that you have with PowerApps? The first role that you have is the admin. As I just mentioned, you get to create different user levels. So if you work in the finance department and you want only people in the finance department to access your app, you could create a Power App that works specifically for your department. If the CEO then asks to have access, you could give him view access, or you could give him full access as well. The great thing is that you get to determine the user levels. Also, you get to look at the different usage analytics to see how people are using the Power App to make sure it's being used more effectively in your organization. That's part of the reason why with Power Apps, admins are able to automate a number of the processes that they create. The second group of people that will be using Power Apps are the users. Like we said before, most of the users are mainly internal users. So a lot of the users that are coming in right now are employees, board members, advisory board members, people who will be inside your organization. The one exception is the new portal feature that we talked about earlier. The third group of users is the developers. Like we mentioned before, it's a low-code system. Absolutely, most of the stuff that you could do doesn't require coding. That said, if you really want some of the higher end development processes, you might want to have a developer help you tailor the different business uses through code and custom APIs. Also, developers can work with server-side logic using the different Azure functions, plugins, and workflow extensions to improve the quality of your Power App. So now that we've gone through the different benefits and we've talked about the users, the different roles, let's spend about a few minutes talking about the different use cases for Power Apps. Sorry. The first use case for Power Apps is for non-governmental organizations. So we have an NGO that we work with in Australia that helps homeless populations. And they help them with their safety and wellness. They create a lot of events to make sure that children and their families have a fun and safe environment to go to when they need it. For a homeless environment, for a homeless population, this is huge. I've done a lot of volunteering in homeless at homeless shelters, and I could tell you that this is something that's desperately needed. The challenge with this is that you need to be able to track these homeless families and children to ensure their safety and wellness. To do this, we created a solution to track participants' information and location using the Microsoft PowerApps attendance system. We integrated this with a SharePoint database where we stored everyone's information, and then also connected to Bing Maps, because that way we could track where people checked in based on their location. Altogether, we then connected this with faculty managers who worked at the NGO, and they were able to track patients on their phone. We talked about the power of mobile in business today. Using these type of tools, we were able to create a mobile tool where faculty managers could do this from their phone without having to write this down on a spreadsheet, then track it, then put it on an Excel spreadsheet, then send it out into an email. It automatically happened in one step. The second use case that we want to talk about is for a roofing company in Southwest Florida. As you can imagine, going up on a roof and fixing a roof, it generally demands a lot of physical labor. What was happening was the roofers at this company were documenting the work they were doing with photos. So you take a photo with your phone of the before and after. The problem is if you do 2 or 3 projects in a day, you then have to go home at night and reconcile what you've done with the work you did during the day. So they would struggle, the roofers would come home and they would struggle putting this all together after working a long day. Not a great idea. So the solution for this was to use the Microsoft PowerApps Job Photo app. Now this photo app allowed you to take a photo of the roof you were working on before and after. It would automatically go into the mobile app on PowerApps, and then it would get sent out to the home office and to the managers. The team leads of the projects could also view their upcoming schedule on the mobile devices, so that way they could manage their time accordingly and get their projects done as they needed them to be done for the company to improve efficiency. Third, clients would then, because it was all done automatically, clients would receive a daily job site report with these photos. Because one of the biggest questions clients have when someone's doing your roof is, when is it going to be done? What's the progress? Where are you at? This led to a 36% decrease in callbacks because of the fact that they were able to send these daily job site reports. The third use case we want to talk about is for a pharmaceutical company in Iran. The challenge they faced was that hundreds of sales reps were creating daily Excel reports to track sales data. I'm sure if anyone's done sales here, they could recognize how time consuming and how challenging this would be. Not only that, doing this on Excel spreadsheets, you're having to put this all together, which means you don't have real-time analytics. The solution for this was that the company created 2 apps. And this is something you'll see in the next 2 companies as well, the next 2 use cases as well. Companies don't need to create just one app. They can create multiple apps based upon their needs. The first app that they created was for the sales reps themselves, and they could plan and track their sales call. So if a sales rep sold 100 units of drug A to a doctor, they could then say, hey, we sold 100 units of drug A to Mr. Doctor. I didn't have a better name. And then what would happen is that would automatically go into the system so that there were real-time analytics. Well, the second app was created for the managers who could then view the report of these analytics. And if there was any challenges to those sales or those numbers, they could then review those reports and give them coaching and advice in real time. This led to faster turnaround and faster ways of helping salespeople get better results. The tool also helps save the representatives about 8 hours per month per sales rep. Now, if you have a company with 800 hours of extra time for your sales reps to go out and sell your products, how much would you think that would help your bottom line? The fifth case that we want to talk about is for a transportation company in the United Kingdom. The challenge they were facing is they have 400 million annual passenger journeys happening on their routes every year through 1,600 buses and 4,000 drivers. Now, 400 million annual passengers is just such a mind-boggling number. The operations and how the logistics of how you manage that is mind-boggling. Obviously, for this, they needed to create multiple Power Apps for different tasks. I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but the two that I want to point out is the first one was an app with easy UI for bus drivers to track the routes. Now, bus drivers are great. I've driven in London, and I can tell you how difficult it is to go over those roundabouts. So there's a lot of skill involved in doing that. Unfortunately, if you're a bus driver, you're probably not really good at technology because you're not spending a lot of time in front of technology. So therefore, if you don't have an app that has really easy UI, it can be very difficult for some bus drivers to use these applications. So therefore, they created a very, very simple a very simple app to use for the bus drivers so they could track their routes. The second app they created was for the repair teams. As you could see on the right-hand side, if there was some repair that needed to be done, it could be put into the application, and then whatever needed to happen was said immediately in there. You take photos, show the repair team what needed to happen. This led to faster response times and more accurate diagnosis because you at least have a photo of what you think needs to be repaired. So we have now the 5 use cases. Now you're probably saying, oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. This is the 5th use case. So the 5th use case is for a bank in South Africa. The departments had multiple processes and technologies. I've worked in a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and for me, that when I had the opportunity of seeing how difficult it is when one sales department uses a CRM from Salesforce, another one uses a Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and a third uses an Excel spreadsheet. It's very difficult to give a unified decision and to help your clients. And this is the problem this bank was having. To help solve that, they created a center of excellence for their company. Over the next 24 months, this center of excellence created 350 different Power Apps. Now, thank God, I'm not going to go through all 350 right now. Otherwise, I would scare everyone. I'm just going to talk about the first app that they created. It was an ATM inspection app. So similar to the roofers who would need to take photos of the roof, inspectors needed to give reports on the different ATMs, whether it was okay, whether it needed repairs, whatever they needed to put in those reports, it was good to have photos. And instead of creating a report, putting it in a Word document or Excel spreadsheet and emailing it, they were able to do everything in their phone and generate over 5,000 inspection reports per month. This allowed them to move faster and be more effective with what they were doing. So those are the 5 use cases that we have right now. I think you probably want to say, okay, let's start seeing how do these Power Apps work and show exactly, let's demonstrate it. Bhupendra, do you want to take over?
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Yes. So hello, everyone. Now I'll demonstrate the few apps we have developed for our clients and how you can customize the apps in App Studios. I will also demonstrate that how these application integrates with SharePoint, Power Automate, formerly Microsoft Flow. Also, how you can add the Power Apps to Microsoft Teams, the integration with the Teams. So this is the first application. We call it attendance tracking system. Now, this is one of the app we have developed for our Australia-based client. Our client organizes different events in different cities, and their staff needs to track the attendance of the attendees there. Earlier, they were doing it manually by maintaining the register, and now they are using Power Apps. And this is the screen. Here on this screen, you can see the different events like hype, fun space, drop in, and drop off. And from the menu here, you can the staff or the admin can add the attendees into the system. Let me click on the attendees button. When I click on the attendees button, I can see all the list of all the attendees here on the page, as well as if I want to add few new attendees into the system, I can simply click on the add button from the top, and there would be a form where I need to put the details of the attendees, and those attendees will gets added into the system. And as this application integrates with SharePoint, so all the data, I mean the attendees, and when we add them into any event, then the attendees all attendance will go in and SharePoint list. So here on this screen, you can see the children list. So basically the attendees are children's. So you can see the list of all attendees here. And on this screen, you can see like Bhupendra, John, Steve, Mike, Sarah Peterson is here. And similarly on the SharePoint list, all the attendees are here. So whenever I add any attendee from the Power Apps, that data will go into a SharePoint list. And let me go back to the Power Apps. And when I go on any event or the staff, so like staff is on remote location and they want to check in someone to the Hype event, they can simply click on the check in toggle button here, and that person will get added to that particular event. And when I add that person into that event, the attendance will go here in the attendance list on the SharePoint table or the list. Here you can see all the detail that John Doe is in chilling space program, or the Steve Mike is in hype, and that entry is created on this particular date and by this staff Vebu Shukla. And as this app also integrates with the Bing map, so it's directly track the location of the person. And here you can see the location. Currently we are in Indore in India. So as we have added all the data from our location, so it shows our location in the list. So this is a few of the integration I have showcased you. And you can let me showcase by checking in. So here you can see that I have checked in Peter Cox, and now let's check him in the, and I have just showcased that I have checked in Peter Cox, and the entry is there in the SharePoint list. Here you can see that Peter Cox is now checked into Hype, and the person here like who Vibhu is checked in. Vibhu is the person who added him into that particular event. So this is the first application, and I would now I will move to the second application, which is the expense approval system. And basically this in this app there are two level of approval required. So when someone raise any request for the expense approval, it will go to the manager first, and when manager approves, it will go to the director for the approval. So here you can see the screen, like I have go to the system, and I can simply click on the plus button and add my request. I can put some description, and I can add the manager to whom I from whom I want the approval, and the director. And I can also attach, if I have any invoice of the tickets and any extra things, any attachment, so I can simply add those attachments, and I need to save this request. So I will also like to tell you that we have also created a few flows, uh, like for sending the email notifications. So in this particular application, on different stages we send a few email notification, and similarly using Power Automate we can have different actions on different triggers. So that also I will showcase you. Let me show the flow we have developed. Let it load. I think the connection is a bit slow. So here you can see that we have done, and in this flow there are different triggers are there, Dif, to different actions are there to send emails. So whenever someone add a new request, there would be a email notification to the manager, and when manager approves, there would be a email notification to the director, right? Let's get back to the application now, and I would like to show you from manager's window as well. Now manager will go to the system, and when manager go, let me refresh this page. So when manager will go to the system, he can see the request raised by the person, and he can simply approve it and reject that particular application. So when manager approves, there would be a email notification to the director that the manager is already approved this particular request, and now you need to approve it. And if it rejects, there would be an email notification to the person who raised that request, that your request is rejected by the manager. So I click on the approve button, and then my flow will trigger and send the email notifications. So that's how it integrates with the flow as well. So Power Apps, Power Automate, so both are from the Power family, Power platform. And now this is the third application, which is the help desk application. And that particular application I have built using the predefined templates available on Power Apps. So, and the same application I have integrated with the Teams. So I think someone asked from the audience, like, is it possible to integrate the Power Apps with the my MS Teams? So here I will showcase you the same. So here you can see that this application is the ticketing system, and you can simply log in as a user and raise your ticket, and then the admin can go into the system and approve assign that particular ticket to someone, and then the assignee will resolve that particular ticket. And I have that application in the edited form as well. So I would like to showcase you like how quickly you can customize this particular application. And in the later part, I will also show you what are the different templates available there. I think let me see where I have that particular app open. So let me open it in edit mode, and I will showcase you how quickly you can customize this particular application. And I will also show the template I have used to build this application. So I have opened this application in Power App Studio, and let me delete that button. So here you can see that I have this application in edited mode now, and I'm dragging and dropping the icon here and there, and I have buttons there. When I click on the button, it on the right hand side, it showcase the property, and in the advanced tab it showcase the actions taken on the button. So here you can see, like, when I click on the button, this action uh, will will execute. So on select, this particular action will execute. And on properties, I can simply go and select the position and the size of this particular button, and the padding, and the margin from the left and the right hand side. Also here you can see there is a color option there, so you can simply change the color of the button. The color suits your branding, so you can choose any color from the color picker, and there is a hex color option is also available. So if you have the hex code of your of the color of your branding needs, you can simply put the hex color, or you can choose from the color picker, right? And here you can see, like, a new screen option is there. So there are few predefined screens which Power Apps gives us to build the application. There is a blank screen, scrollable form, success screen is there, tutorial screen is there, meeting invite screen, people screen. So few predefined screens are there, and this is the blank canvas. So basically this is the canvas application, and this works the same, like we have a canvas and we can paint whatever we want to paint on the canvas. And the application, canvas application, works the same. We have a blank canvas, and you can put any control on the canvas, and you can decide the actions on those buttons. You can put the images, like I have that particular icon, and like here you can see all the, in the tree view you can see all the controls I have on the screen, right? Here you can see that I have a background black color background image. I can simply enable and disable it from the property pane. And on the screen you can see the effect. If I enable it, there would be a black background. If I disable, it will remove from the application. So similarly, there are labels here, and there are different controls I have already placed on the screen. And in the insert tab, you can see all the controls available on Power Apps. There are labels, there are buttons. So let me drag and drop one button on the screen. So I have one button on the screen, and when I drag and drop it, so I can put it anywhere on my screen. And there are different screen resolutions is also available. So right now I am in the portrait mode, and you can use the landscape mode as well, right? So this is the button I have added, and I can simply drag and drop, and I can choose the text of the button here, right? So that's how it works. I would also like to know you, like, this Power Apps works with the native features of the mobile phones as well, like camera and barcode. So if you use the camera tool, so basically camera tool is used to take the snaps with the devices, like Android and the iOS device. If you have, you can simply take the photos, and the user can upload those photos in the data source, uh, anywhere from where the application is running, right? So there is barcode scanner, and there are different native features are there which you can use in your application. So this is a quick demo, and let me show you, like, what are the different use cases we have. I mean, the predefined templates we have. So on this screen you can see, like, Power Apps already providing us few few predefined templates, like for the meeting capture. And uh, this particular template integrates with the Outlook, and it captures the data. You can open this application during the meeting, and you can simply put your notes there during the meeting. You can you can assign tasks at the same time during the meeting. Here is the onboarding task screen. This application also integrates with your Outlook to-do list, right? So let me click here and we can quickly see the preview. And if you like it, you can simply click on the create button, and you can there are simple steps are there using which you can build that particular application. And even if you are a beginner, you can using the templates, you can build those application in 30 minutes or hardly an hour. And if you want to create an application from scratch, it may take few hours to develop the application, or one day only. So it is very easy to build applications using Power Apps, and anyone can build application using Power Apps. There is no expertise required, right? And this is the template I have used. So let's check how it looks like. And you have already seen like how I have created that application, and now I am showing you the predefined template available for help desk ticketing system. Here you can see like they have a background image with the application, and there is a different look and feel here. And like I have used the same template, and I have make a bit tweaks in that particular template, and I made it according to my need. I put my brandings there, and I utilized the same uh, available template there. So that's how you can use. And I would also like to mention AI builder there. Like if you go on uh, let me go on the edit mode application, and here you can see there is a AI builder is there. So basically AI builder is a new power platform capability for teams with the business expertise to easily automate processes and predict outcomes to improve business performance. And there are components in the AI builder which we can use while building apps. Like there is a business card reader available, and that business card reader is a component available in Power Apps Studio that lets you scan business card. And you can use this control to extract the contact information from the picture of your business card or your mobile phone camera. So this how AI is evolving with the Power Apps. So they recently added it with the Power Apps, and it's growing up. It's in the growing stage. So now I would like to showcase, like someone asked like how I can integrate it with Teams. So here you can see I have already checked in that application, and when I check in, I can see there is a add to Teams button. And when I click on that particular button, it show me the steps, and there would be a button to download the app. So it will provide me a package which there would be a zip file, and that zip file I can simply download and add in my Teams. So here you can see I have already opened that particular application in Teams. So in apps, you can put that particular package you have downloaded from the Power App. And here you can see that upload a custom app button is available, and you can simply upload that in upload for me or my Teams, or upload for the whole tenant. So when you add, that particular application will available to add, and I have already added that application here, and I can simply use this application in Teams as well. So here is the integration with Teams. So I think this was helpful for you guys. And I would like to uh, uh, I would like to finish my demonstration here. And now Andy, you can take it over.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of questions coming in. I'm trying to keep pace. So if you have any others, definitely let us know. Put it in the chat bot or in the Q&A section, and we're going through both right now. Before we get to the questions, just want to give you a quick heads up. If you are if you have additional questions that we just can't answer in the questions, definitely feel free to schedule a free 1 hour consultation with our team. We'd love to be able to help you and talk about how we could use Power Apps specifically for your business. Just contact us at contact@beyondinternet.com. As a free bonus for attending this webinar, we'll give out a free proof of concept development done for you, so you could see what it would look like for your business, and a free proof of we greatly appreciate everyone joining us today. Thank you so much.